so that the electorate will be able to decipher and be able to pick among the candidates which of them will be best enough while occupying the particular office. And apart from that also, we'll also be looking at political marketing as an avenue through which you also deploy certain policies that will help the political class and the political party as well. On the Democratic Partners Week, the first edition in the year 2026, we are taking a look at political marketing in contemporary politics, particularly looking at Nigeria as a reference point. And I'm joined on the program this afternoon by a lecturer and author, someone who has seen it all when you talk about political marketing in the era of digital, digital era that we find ourselves in Nigeria today, and beyond Nigeria as well. As I said, he's a lecturer, of course, an author who has written one or two other books. Join me as I welcome to the studio Dr. Lanre Akinola. He's a senior lecturer in the Department of Mass Communication, Olabisi Onabanjo University, here in Ogun State. Dr. Akinola, it's nice having you in the studio.
Thank you very much, and thank you to our listeners, wherever you are.
Yeah. Quickly give us an insight into what political marketing could mean, because a lot of people out there might not really have a full grasp of what is political marketing and how could they also identify one.
All right, political marketing is relatively new. When I say relatively new, in the world, it became popular in the early 90s in developed democracies. And in short, it is the encroachment or introduction of marketing principles and practices into the field of politics. And just like you have said, the incursion of marketing principles and strategies was not quickly accepted because some political scientists felt it was an encroachment. But then over time we have come to see that even politics itself is democratic and it has marketing principles. What do we call the marketing principles? It's about meeting the target market needs the way they want it. And so when we're talking about politics and democracy, we're talking about a policy, a governance that is people-oriented. And so when we talk about political marketing, we are talking about not just the communication, but seeing the various stakeholders as co-creators of democracy, not that the political elite, merely communicates to the people when election is coming to solicit their election. But what we're saying is that for political marketing, all the things we do in marketing, core marketing, like market segmentation, understanding the customer, right, factoring the customer's needs and wants into your product, can also be brought into politics, so that politics becomes people-centric. That is, in short, what political marketing is.
Okay. Right. Okay. Now, just towards the end of your remarks, you talk about deploying those strategies and marketing into the political landscape now. Now, then, it should then suffice to ask you that when you are doing such, could we succinctly put that when you have the political class, a political organization, a political party, or a candidate engaging the electorate on regular basis on issue-based things around them, and also looking at issue of empowerment, issue of reaching out to them by giving them free Medicare, could that also be brought under the political marketing that you have just printed?
Yeah, what we are looking at, just like if you take any brand and you look at their marketing strategy, you will see that it is holistic. They just don't use one simple strategy or tactics, right? Whatever they choose to deploy is not their personal choices. It is as a result of a market research. And so whatever they are doing, they are responding to market research. Now what is a bit missing now is that the political class, the political parties and the candidates assume that they know the needs of the people. I use the word very carefully. Assume that they know, right? And so they just do what they think that the people want. And if you look at the level of political participation in Nigeria, we can therefore say that the attitude of the politician is also responsible for the disconnect that a larger percentage of the public have towards electoral participation. If you ask people, they don't have a feel that why should I be interested? Why should I go and vote? Right? They will tell you that, oh, they know the people they are campaigning to. And when you seriously ask, really, look at previous elections. As elites, do you think the politicians actually campaign to us? Do they consider us as a critical stakeholder, a critical segment of the electorate? If they consider us a critical segment of the electorate, then they will have to come to us, right? Interface with us, know our thinking, know our expectations, and then design their policies to connect with us. But when you go to the political market, there are different segments. There are segments by gender, there are segments by religion, there are segments by need, there are segments by ethnic, whatever, and so many other factors. And so anyone who wants to go to the market, the political market, and win a larger chunk of the electorate must factor all these critical segments and then look for ways not just to communicate with them, but to establish and sustain a relationship with them. Because after winning the election, you also need the continuous support of the people who voted you there, and probably the understanding of those people who did not vote for you.
Okay, Dr. Akinola, you've taken a dive into marketing and communication in a digital era, and you made reference to Nigeria to actually bring out those things that you think are so essential and are vital for the survival of political marketing and communication. Will you say with that exercise you have been able to a reasonable level do a kind of justice into it, and would this also help the political landscape in Nigeria?
Now, what I don't want to use what I've done. I'll say what we have done.
Okay.
Right. Is that we are calling attention of the stakeholders. And when I talk about stakeholders in politics and election in Nigeria, the candidates and the political parties, the election management board, INEC, civil society, non-governmental organizations, the electorate with the electorate, the media, very critical. We're all involved. All right? In the past, we have played different roles. But today, there is a profound change. And this change is driven by digital technology. Let's take ourselves a little bit back. In the 60s, the pre-independence election, you have to go to different localities to go and campaign. The rallies, you organize rallies. Even when you organize those rallies, the technology available for you is not the kind of technology that is available for you today. You can count how many television stations we had in 1960. Probably one. Now, as at the last count, there are over 740 broadcast stations in Nigeria.
TV and radio stations.
And so if you are contesting to be a president, and all these broadcast stations have specific spectrum, an area that they cover, and your interest is to cover the entire gamut of the nation. The implication is that if you are using those broadcast stations alone, you have to reach out to virtually all of them, as it were. In those days, the print was very, very powerful. Right? Very, very powerful. Such that major political actors then started their own newspapers. The likes of Zik, the likes of Awolowo, MKO, Abiola, even as late as Kalu and OGD. All started their paper because they are looking for a media platform where they can use to market their own policies and ideas. Right. But now, with the advent of the internet, the digital media, what it has done now, it has liberalized the space where you have the powerful people, right, who control the media, who set the agenda, right? Now, setting the agenda is no longer a thing of monopoly. We are now in the era of citizenship journalism, where someone, whether he trained as a journalist or not, once he has a phone and is on social media, he can create his own story, he can broadcast his own story, right? He can give analysis, he can give insight. Unfortunately also, you also have people who have developed the skills that they now call themselves influencers. Now the question is, the person who is influencing others, to what extent is that person educated or knowledgeable? But that's the era where we find ourselves. So and it has both good and negative side. If you look at the reach of the social media, is by far wider and larger than that of the traditional media today. It's instantaneous. It also gives room for engagement. It's not the monologue thing. It's a dialogue where the contestant, the party, can put up something and then the people can respond and then they can also respond. It becomes a dialogue. Right. Now we're talking about a situation where people want to see results of election live. As people are voting, oh okay, they've just tallied this, so the number has increased. They've just tallied this, the number has increased. In the past, we wait about 48 hours, 36 hours to get the full results. But now through digital technology, people are expecting the results, if possible, within the next 3-4 hours after the election has closed. Again, when you look at it, it makes the citizen powerful. Because now I have a voice. In the past, I did not have a voice. Because the traditional media is so controlled that the ordinary person does not have a voice. The people who have the voice there are the political class and the elite, as it were. But now the ordinary person now has a voice. He can go on his own handle and then say whatever he wants to say. And if he has followers who will also rebroadcast whatever. So these are things that we're talking about.
Okay.
But for us, we are saying that politicians, the political parties must understand that the era of sheer communication alone is no longer adequate
Okay.
for the current political market.
Okay.
And so we are saying adopt the marketing in addition to your communication. After all, marketing is bigger than communication. Communication is a subset of the marketing.
Yes.
That is the argument that political marketing, and that's what I advocate for.
Oh, okay, all right. So, will you say this book has been able to address the transition from analog media setting that we had in Nigeria then to the digital era now that we currently find ourselves? And how has the space been able, how have the political class been able to maximize the space to their own benefit and to also reach out to their electorate and get the desired result that could give them the leverage when it comes to electoral processes?
Now, we will all agree that change is not something that we accept easily.
Sure.
And for me as a scholar and as a political marketing scholar in that matter, my biggest concern is that we are the biggest black African nation in the world. We have a population of 230 million by estimates.
I'm still counting.
Yeah, by estimates, right?
Yeah.
But an INEC in 2023 gave a data that over 91 million people registered to vote. Now, when you look at 91 from 230, and to register to vote, it means you are between 18 and above. And that, for me, cannot be less than 150, 160, or 180 million.
Of the 230.
Of the 230
Yes.
assumption. But now, only 90 million registered. Fair enough. From that 90 million, only 24 million voted. 24 million of 90 million, right, is not even up to 30%. Should I now shock you? Nigeria has the lowest voters turnout rate, even in West Africa. And for us to understand what we're saying, we have a president today, whether anybody likes it or not, is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the commander-in-chief, and is ruling over 230 million Nigerians, both at home and in diaspora. But he became a president with only 8,000 thereabout votes.
8 million.
Oh, sorry, 8 million. So you are ruling a whole nation of about 230 million with only 8 million people saying yes, go and rule us. And so when people attack Mr. President, when people abuse Mr. President, we must know where it's coming. That means if you take from, let's say, even 180 million, right, and only 8 million voted for him, that means 172 million people did not vote for him. From that 172 million people, thereabouts, okay, for whatever reason, we can assume that they are not in support of him. By the next election, we'll see whether anything has changed. But for me, I am worried that if we call ourselves a democracy, and as a marketer, my point is that if you have a brand, and your brand is not subscribed to, you have a brand, let's say only 1% of the total market, okay, patronize your brand. They're not a successful brand. There's something fundamentally still wrong with that brand. And in this case, the Nigerian democracy, for me, is a brand. It is not properly patronized. The implication is that there's something wrong with Nigerian democracy. And that is what the political class and every one of us should address. The issue of trust deficit.
Yeah. That's important.
One of the biggest reasons why we have low voters turnout is that people don't trust that system. Some of the arguments are flimsy, some founded, because again, they are not decisions that are taken now. They are decisions they were taken based on very long experiences. They will tell you whether you vote or not, they know who is going to win. So why waste
our votes don't count?
Our votes don't count. But that's not true now. That's not true now. But there was a time when figures were conjured. But with the introduction of technology, the beavers,
okay,
right?
Beavers.
And other things that it is much difficult now to manipulate election results.
Okay, with the last election, in reference to the last election now in 2023, you gave a vivid analysis of what transpired, how 8 million out of 230 actually voted to determine who should be the president of the nation. Now, between marketing and communication, which of the two did not work well, or the two combined not working well, or the two actually work, only that the level of literacy or what have you is still very far from being an equation with both marketing and communication?
You see, for us, we cannot separate the two because the two work together.
Okay.
When you are marketing, you still have to communicate. You have a message you want to share with the people. So what we're talking about now is what is the message you are communicating with the people? How are you communicating it? Right? Whether it is verbal, whether it is non-verbal, whether you are using the broadcast, whether you are using the print, whether you are using the physical stakeholder meeting, or you are using the online. What is your message? Again, don't also forget that the era of single source of messaging is gone. Now there are multiple sources of information. Unfortunately, we now have a new dilemma. The dilemma of misinformation and disinformation. And so when you look at it, I will sit down here and say that the political class is not doing well enough.
Okay.
Because you don't ask for trust. You don't demand for it.
You earn it.
You earn it. I speak for Nigerians. Nigerians, many of us are good people. When we say something good, we will acknowledge that this is good.
And we naturally embrace it.
Yes. The same Nigerians who abuse and cause the super egos, right, are now praising them and praying for them. Something has changed. Because that thing is now earning the respect and the trust. So we now expect the political class to deliberately work towards earning the trust of the people. And in earning the trust, your communication must also be perfect. Both your verbal and non-verbal cues. Those things that you are not saying, but that people are seeing in you, they are messages. But for me, the media also has its own weakness.
Oh, okay.
Now, unfortunately, the traditional media is in context, right, with the digital media.
With what we call new media.
The new media, Because when we say, oh, breaking news, are you the one breaking the news? You're no longer the one breaking the news. You now find a situation where even the presidency breaks the news himself, if you are a president like Donald Trump. Even before he discusses with his cabinet, he has issued it on his social media page. And then others can follow. And so, we see a trend where some people, when they see social media content, they still wait to verify whether it is true or not from the traditional media. And when you look at the proliferation of media houses in Nigeria, it also has its negative impact on politics. At times I listen to radio stations, I watch some television stations, and I wonder what NBC is doing. The ethics are gone. Somebody goes on here, good morning, today we are going to be discussing on so and so. We are throwing the line open, and then even the moderator has set an agenda of what he wants those who are calling it to say. And it does appear that in marketing terms, right, attacking government is good money. And so you see that some media organization feels that, if you want to have more listeners, right, so pick topics that malign government, attack government. And they are making it. And when you do that, what you are doing is that you are also destroying the trust we have said is in deficit.
Okay, Dr. Akinola, we'll go on a short break, but before we go, we'll also be taking a dive into the issue of public relations, propaganda, because these are instruments of also marketing or demarketing a particular product, so that the target audience could either key into those strategies, or they rather look away and see how they could also maneuver and get their things done. So we want to go on this break. The program is the Democratic Part, and we are looking at political marketing in contemporary politics. We'll be right back shortly. Join us again. From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise the land of the free, we know they tired. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilience, rooted like mountains, we bring color. We stand back in Jesus, we make solutions, we make matters, yeah. There's a message to me, we don't have a solution. We are Nigeria, we are Nigeria, we know the Nigeria, we are Nigeria, together in the streets of the land with majesty. We are Nigeria.
I am the Real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
You're welcome back. The program is still Democratic Parts from OGTV Television here in Abeokuta, the global headquarters of OGTV. And we are taking a look at political marketing in contemporary politics. My guest is still Dr. Lanre Akinola, a senior lecturer in the Department of Mass Communication, BC Onabanjo University here in Ogun State. So, Dr. Akinola, before we went on that break, I was asking about the deployment of propaganda, public relations, and what have you, because now marketing, that means advertising is also in a way being accommodated on board this political marketing and communication and what have you. So how do we react to that? Will we also agree or say that propaganda, public relations, advertising are also key components of having effective marketing and communication?
Yeah, let me start from when you look at advertising. Advertising is that you have a brand and you have target customers, and you want to communicate with your target customers your brand message in such a way to win them to support or patronize your product. And in election, right, there is a market. The market is the election, right? The customers are the electorate. The product is the party, the candidate, and their manifesto. So the election is an exchange. The party and the contestant offer unto the electorate promises in terms of, oh, this is our manifesto. When we get that, this is what we're going to do. Okay? The electorate, in return, offer their votes in exchange for promises. All right? Now, for me to part with my votes, your promise must be good, must appeal to me. And that's where we're talking about the marketing. Brands create impression that this particular brand is not meant for everybody, it's meant for you. Okay? But that you that is meant for is replicated in so many yous, in quotes. So, a politician who is smart, who is market oriented, we also know that in developing your party, developing your logo, developing your manifesto, you must take into cognizance the needs, the expectations, the sensibilities, the psychology of your target electorate. Now, when you do that, when your message, when your product connects with your target, they will not only accept and patronize, right? They also now become your campaign and marketing people. Now, when we come to public relations, PR is about establishing, building, maintaining, and sustaining mutual beneficial relationship between an organization and its various publics. the political party that understands the principle of PR, we know that our relationship with the electorate does not end with one election cycle. Right? What is your attitude and behavior to the electorate before the election? What is your relationship with the electorate after the election has been won and lost? Okay? And so, if the political class understands all this, you will now start to build relationships. Because PR is about building, and it is mutual. It is not that you come to me for my vote. Once you get my vote, you have moved on. Yeah, you come next time. In another 4 years, you come. And I'll let you understand that I'm not the fool you think I am. Are you with me? Now, when it comes to propaganda, it is the selling of what we call half-truths. In propaganda, a certain aspect of it is true, but the way it is cooked. But for me, I will not want to talk about propaganda really. I want to talk about how we campaign, our campaign messaging. And I would like to tell people, like I told some of my students, if you and I belong to different political parties, you are contesting for an office, the same office I'm contesting for. It is not my responsibility to campaign for you. It is not my responsibility to boost your image. No. Unlike John the Baptist, who said, Christ should increase while I decrease. In politics, my opponent should decrease while I increase. So everything I'm interested in is the message that will decrease the acceptability and popularity of my opponent, and the message that will increase my acceptance and popularity. And so what I tell to the public is, when you get political messages, the first question you should ask yourself, who is giving this message? Why is he giving this message? Because as a consultant, if I work for a particular candidate, my responsibility is to help his image, to help his acceptability, to help him win the election. My responsibility is not to be looking for his negatives and then be exposing his negatives. That is left for the opposition. My own responsibility is to look for the loopholes in the opposition and escalate it.
So that is the part of marketing.
That is politics for you.
And marketing is allowed in that area.
You see, unlike in commercial marketing, it is not ethical. Okay? But in political marketing, it is allowed.
Okay. All right, Dr. Akinola. Now, because our time is fast going and we need to touch a lot of grounds before we wrap up on the program. Now, what are the prospects and challenges of marketing politics in Nigeria?
Very, very big.
Okay.
I can tell you, in this book we have 17 chapters written by professionals and scholars. A former information minister, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, contributed the chapter from his own personal experience. My friend, the CEO of Vedanzo, Tunjo Lubodi, in marketing, contributed. Professors from marketing communication, professors in research who have conducted electoral polls in Ogun State and in Nigeria, contributed from personal experiences, right? And so when you look at the prospects, for instance, we need researchers. The first thing you want to do in any election here is to first establish what is the people's current perception.
Okay.
Where does your party and candidate stand today? What is it that people think about your candidate and your party? It is only when you know it that you can now develop a strategy to address those gaps. There are people who will also work with you on the strategic side. There are people who will work with you on the messaging side. There are people who will work with you on the media allocation and media buy side. Right? There are people who will work with you on the management side. My brother, to organize an election campaign, the campaign you see outside, you need specialists in event marketing. You need sound experts. You need security experts. Okay? You need so many people. When it comes to election, you need people who can help you mobilize. You need people who can help you go from door to door. You need printers. You need graphics people. Okay? You need content developers, right? People who can come up with real content. You also need what I call the online warriors. People who are ready to defend your party and your candidate, and probably who are also ready to punch the opponent. So it's a very big market. And with the way Nigeria is today, by the special grace of God, our democracy since 1999 has been uninterrupted.
Sure.
We are in the 7th cycle. And so it means that the market will continue to get bigger. So we're looking for people who will help these politicians, because whether we like it or not, one day the politicians will wake up and realize that it is not money that will win your election. I'm sorry to say, I'll give you an instance. In 2015, the ruling party outspent the opponent by 100%. Yet the ruling party lost because they did not do A, B, C, and D. And because the opposition did A, B, C, and D and connected with the people. So that's the way it is going. If any politician is still sitting down and is feeling that, oh, all I need to win the election is to have the money, you will spend your money. I can tell you, the people are wiser today. They know that that money with you is state fund. So they will collect it, and on the election day, they will vote. Some of them will still vote according to their conscience.
The political consciousness of most electorate
is getting getting better.
It's getting better. Now, from all of these, one particular industry is so key and central to it, and that is the media.
The media.
Yeah, because communication can only happen when the media is involved. Though there could be interpersonal, that is verbal communication,
but the mass media is very critical.
Is very critical because we are dealing with an heterogeneous audience. Now, has the media fared in this issue of communicating and marketing and communicating strategies in contemporary Nigerian politics?
I'm going to be a bit frank. And because we also teach, we also have a responsibility to teach our students. There is what you call the public broadcaster, and then there is a private arm of the broadcasting. I've always said it, I don't have any problem with a private broadcaster, all right, taking side. In the US, if you watch very carefully, you will see that CNN is pro-Democrat, while Fox News is pro-Republican. No problem. So any private television station can align with any political party. But even as at that, let all of us understand that your media organization is surviving today because there is Nigeria. So in whatever we are doing, we must be mindful to always protect Nigeria. For instance, why would anyone call that America should come and bomb Nigeria? I think when America bombs Nigeria, America is going to bomb others and not bomb you. The invasion of Venezuela, some people died. The people who died there, their identity is not known for now. But their families know that they have lost somebody. We cannot continue to denigrate our nation. Because if this nation does not exist, right, many of those people who are talking, their existence is also called to question. Now, for me, the media should play the independent, unbiased role as stipulated in the ethics that guides our profession.
But the state media needs to also survive. Survival is key here, so that you can remain relevant in the industry and also still be in operation.
I agree with you, but in marketing terms, I can also tell you that you can, if you have that kind of mentality, you will survive for a while. There are some media, there are some popular television stations and radio stations then that their rating has gone down seriously now because of simple mistake. I'm sorry. Why don't we just do Jenle Uru, Jenle Egungun, maintain your balance? I know a state broadcaster, right? If opponents bring their message, they will do it, they will take it. If you bring your own, they will take it. The only thing they will not take is if it violates the ethics.
The NBC code.
And the NBC code. But if you don't violate it, no. You cannot say because you are an organization, so you have taken a position that you are going to only attack this party or candidate, or you are, well, for private is okay. But public broadcasters should not have that kind of attitude. I know the limitations. I know that when you work under a chief executive who does not understand the meaning of journalism, the meaning of press and press freedom and all this, he will want to have his own way, and it may become very difficult for those people who are working there. But then we have the voice to say, we will continue to say it. The media needs to help us do a lot of enlightenment. There is nothing wrong with people going out on election day and casting their vote. And it does. Let me give you one shocking thing. I cast my vote in Okegbe, right? And where I casted my vote, my political party won there. And because my political party won, you now go to the public. Then when you now see the results that your party eventually did not win in all, you now say it was rigged. Now it was rigged. We won because of one polling unit.
Okay, yeah, Dr. Akinola, we are closing on, and of course, it will be necessary and imperative. 17 chapters, 252 pages. As a book, could the book be what I would say, a compass or to solve so many of the marketing and communication, communication strategies in the contemporary Nigerian politics?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This book is the first of its kind in Nigeria. Without sounding immodest, as of today, I recognize myself as a frontline marketing communication scholar. My PhD is in political marketing. And this book, if a serious politician who is interested in winning elections and making Nigeria better picks this book and read a few chapters, that politician will understand what he or she should do. For instance, the chapter written by Professor Yoshiku talks about the importance of research and polling before you even start setting up whatever. The chapter by Tunji Olugbodi talks about the digital revolution and its impact on election campaign. There is a chapter that talks about the logos and our slogans and the communication imperative of all this. I will not give total detail. I consulted for a party and a candidate, and by the time we were engaged, they had printed a large number of posters. And when I saw the poster, I saw the slogan of the political party. And the first thing I asked, I hope you have not started circulating this. They said no, they are just about to start circulating. I said, you dare not. Because the message on this poster would demarket you. And good enough, they took the advice. They had to print another one. And it made some impact.
Did the candidate eventually win?
No, the candidate did not win.
So marketing and communication has failed in that area?
No. You see, what we also don't understand, not every contestant wants to win the election. For crying out loud, we must understand that.
But coming from a political marketing expert, a scholar that was engaged, one would have expected that, this should be able to scale through.
No. You see, this is the way it works. Because we are research oriented, we started with research. We knew the popularity of the candidate when we started. By the time we had worked with that candidate for 3 months, we did another pool and we knew where we are. It's just like measuring your compass. Are you going up or coming down? Are you with me? There are some candidates. You see them contesting for governorship, whatever. They are not interested. They know they can't win. Right? They are only doing it to be able to negotiate.
Become relevant.
Yeah, to be relevant. They will not tell you. Right? But at the back of their mind, they probably know. Alright? So we also need to understand that.
Alright. So we want to thank you so much, Dr. Lanre Akinola, a lecturer in the Department of Mass Communication, Olabisi Onabanjo University here in Ogun State, who has been able to take us through give us insight into political marketing in contemporary politics, not only limited to marketing, but also communicating with people, because that is very essential too when it comes to political marketing. So we must thank you for finding time to be with us on the show this week. We believe that this exercise will have